Hi guys, Michael Wright Photography. Today we're going to talk to you about something a little bit different. We did a different video about how to plan for a wedding. We talked about, what if you have a $25,000 budget, these are the things you need to do. And I thought, not everyone has a $25,000 budget. What if you have a $10,000 budget? But yet you still want to have 100 people. And, it may sound a little bit difficult in order to have that many people and still stay within that budget, but I came up with, what I think is a good budget or how to allot that budget if you're gonna have, 100 people and $10,000 wedding. First and foremost, any time you're planning a wedding, the most expensive thing is gonna be the venue, because typically the venue will dictate what your food and beverage costs will be. And from there, it's just a matter of, $100 per person times 100 people, you're already at $10,000 and even more with tax and service fees and whatnot. So in terms of this scenario where you're only spending $10,000 on your wedding, you're going to have to look for about a $2,000 venue. And not only one that's $2,000, but one that allows outside catering. Now in our area, there are several venues that are sub $2,000 just to rent it out. If you're looking for something in the Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale area, send me an email. I'll let you know which ones fall within that range. But try to budget about $2,000 for the venue. Now let's talk about the food. To try to feed 100 people for under $10,000 is really hard. The only way that you're going to be able to do it, in my opinion, would be to do a food truck. Now there are some really good food trucks in the area. Down here in South Florida, we got a thing, Food Truck Invasion. They're almost 30 days per month, or 20 some odd days per month. During the weeknights, they have events throughout the South Florida area. I'd maybe go check out one of those. Maybe you can see if they do catering. There's one that I know and like that said that, when they cater for events, it's usually around 20 bucks or a little bit less per person. So that would put you at about $2,000 for the food truck. And if you think about it, that's kind of what they specialize in is, food on location. So if you can find one that's good, right there, you're at $4,000 to have a venue and food to feed 100 people. That's a win. So let's talk about the rest of the budget. So for me, and I'm biased, I'm a photographer, I'd say budget about $2,500 for a photographer. Now I know it's like, well, Mike, you're a photographer, you're saying spend the most money on that, but I really do believe it's one of the most important aspects of the day because it's the one thing that you're going to have after the wedding. In addition, if you have your event at a venue that's nice but not exactly the Ritz-Carlton, having a really good photographer, your photos are still going to turn out nice. If you have your event at the Ritz-Carlton and you have a $500 photographer, it's going to look bad, So get a good photographer and your wedding will look like $1 million, even though it was only $10,000. The next thing is a DJ. I would say spend $1,000 on the DJ. You may be able to find one for a little bit less, but the main thing is you want someone reliable. We've had some weddings where the couples, went with someone that wasn't reliable, and one time the DJ didn't show up. We had one time where the first dance was delayed by about 2.5 minutes while the DJ fixed the equipment problems that he was having as the couple stood in the middle of the dance floor. And we had a couple of other instances where, the sound system just wasn't up to par. So you want to spend money and have somebody that's reliable and reputable because if you have a reception with a bad DJ, that's 3 hours of dancing or, people not dancing because it's just not good. So the main things are get a good venue that allows outside catering, maybe find a food truck to cater it because it's going to be very hard to find a professional caterer that's going to be anywhere around $20 per person to feed a party of that size. Get a good photographer because, to me, $2,500, you may need to spend a little bit more depending on your area, but it's a good starting point for a decent photographer. And then get a good DJ. The next thing, I'd say get a day of planner. a good day of planner, is going to start at about $1,000. So I say expect to spend about $1,000 on a day of planner. And here's the reason: you're going to be kind of doing, DIY, do-it-yourself type things later on in terms of the flowers, maybe the cake, or pulling everything all together in an unconventional manner. And certain things just aren't going to be in place as if you went to a country club and they've got 100 people on staff doing things. If you get a day of planner and talk over everything that you want to accomplish, they can make sure that everything is in place, everything's where it's supposed to be, everything's the way it should be, and it takes all the stress off of you trying to pull all of these different items and things together, on this budget without, going crazy. So I'd say spend about, $1,000 or so on the day of planner. Your dress, I'd say, stay around about maybe a $500 dress. You can get a really nice dress that maybe it's not a wedding dress. Maybe you do a rental dress. That's something that if you go online, you can rent a dress from a couple different popular sites, and you can have a dress that looks way more expensive than what you paid for it because you're only renting it, or it's not. It wasn't intended to be a wedding dress, but it's a really nice white gown. I figure maybe $100 for alterations if you need to take this in or not. The groom, about $150 for the tux. The bride, maybe about $150 for hair and makeup. You figure about $750 for linens, chairs, any extra decor that you want to add to the room. I've had brides do their own flowers in the past, so you figure about maybe $200 for florals. You can have someone source the particular flowers that you want from a nearby store, whether it's a florist shop or if it's a supermarket or it's just someplace that sells really nice flowers, and then go on Etsy and then you can get the wraps for the bouquet. I had a bride do this with a smaller wedding party. If you have a wedding party of, 3 bridesmaids, then, it's not a big deal to do that. But if you've got a bridal party of 10 to 15 bridesmaids, then maybe I would, stay away from doing the florals yourself. And then lastly, about maybe $200 for the cake. You can do, a 1-tier cake and then have cupcakes, or you can just do all cupcakes. I've had couples do this because then they can have different flavors. A lot of times maybe the bride wants vanilla, the groom wants red velvet, or vice versa. This way you can have many different flavors, and it's already servable in terms of being able to get it out to guests versus having to cut it up in the back and then taking the time to deliver it out to everyone. So in total, this comes up to $10,550. I know I'm a little bit over budget. It's not right at $99,999, but there is some wiggle room within there to where maybe instead of $1,000 DJ, you get $800 DJ. Maybe instead of the venue costing you $2,000, maybe you find a venue that's $1,600 to rent for the night. There's some wiggle room within all of these things to where maybe you can find a sweet spot and come in under 10K. Or if you're just over 10K for a wedding that includes 100 people that's not in someone's backyard, that's a win. You don't necessarily have to have a $25,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 wedding if that's not something that you can afford and your budget's only around 10K. But again, just to sum up everything, find a venue that allows outside catering, find a good food truck to cater it, get a good photographer. I know I'm biased, but these pictures are going to be something that you have forever. There's going to be family members at this wedding that you may never see again. You never know what happens in life versus people getting sick or just not. You may not have all the family in one place again for a while. So spend a little bit more on your photographer and make sure you get some really good photos. Spend a little bit more on the DJ. You don't want to have a situation where the music sounds bad or the DJ just doesn't have the right personality or the song choices just aren't good. the day of planner, you know, they're really valuable, whether it's just them or it's them and, you know, a couple of their team members. They can help bring this vision together and help everything run smoothly, because if you're going to try and do everything, you know, on this type of budget, you really want someone there that can help, you know, move things along and get it organized. And then the other things are just things that, you know, you need to add in. The toughest one may be finding the dress you like for around 500. But even with that, you know, again, maybe you can go a little bit up on the dress if you find a DJ that's, you know, 750 instead of 1,000, or a photographer that's maybe 2,300 instead of 2,500 or something. There's a little bit of wiggle room in there. I hope this helps. You know, I really hope that people out there can take this, and if they're on that type of budget, that, you know, they can have a really awesome wedding and really enjoy themselves, versus trying to, you know, go to some venue that takes up $7,500 and then, you know, struggling to find a photographer, a DJ, a dress, everything else for $2,000. If you have any questions or comments, either shoot me an email or leave them in the comment section below. If there's anything else you think I can add to, you know, help people out or save money in any way, shoot me an email, let me know. I'll make sure to do another video about it. My name is Michael Wright, Michael Wright Photography. If you need a photographer for your event, make sure your photographer is right.